Morning students. Today we will discuss about one of the important phylum that is exclusively radially symmetrical. The symmetry is radial, where the animal gives two equal halves when we cut the animal from any body plane. So that is called as radially symmetry, or we can say diploblastic animal. So that is called as the coelenterata. So the next phylum. So the first phylum is Coelenterata, that is mainly comes under parazoa. Now those metazoans, that is multicellular animals which having tissue grade of organization, where the group of cells which organize to form the structure, which having the same origin and having the same structure and performing similar type of function, that is called as tissue. Now here these individuals, these animals are multicellular. These are multicellular. With tissue grade of organization. So here we can observe what level of organization, the tissue level of organization. So that clearly indicates in these animals there is a formation of tissues to perform different functions of the body. And the next important feature of these animals is these animals are always radially symmetrical. The symmetry of the body is radially symmetrical. And the next feature is these are aquatic. These animals are what? Aquatic, means always present in water. Generally, we can say majority, generally or marine. So 99.9% of these coelenterata are marine forms. Generally or marine. Sessile. That means here we should show the specificity. We can use the term exclusive, but there is one coelenterata, that is the fresh water. Because of that, here we cannot use the term exclusive. So here generally marine, generally or marine, and hydra is fresh water form. This is the coelenterata always present in fresh water. And the animals are sessile, means that are fixed, attached to the substratum, or some may be free swimming. So here we observe both the forms. So these are aquatic, generally marine, but hydra is the coelenterata which is freshwater form. and these coelenterate may be sessile or they may be free swimming, that is freely moving one. And what symmetry? This is the feature. These are radially symmetrical animals. And the next important feature is these coelenterate that provided with the specialized cells called as the presence of nidocytes or called as nidoblast, which having stinging capsules. So the presence of what? The presence of nidocytes, nidocysts or nidoblast, which contains what capsule? Stinging capsules. And this nidoblast then have nematocysts. What is present? Nematocytes are present on the tentacles and on the body. So because of the characteristic presence of this nidoblast or that is nidocytes, these are commonly called as nidarians. Why coelenterate are commonly called as nidaria or nidarians? Because of the presence of stinging capsule cells called as nidocytes or called as nidoblast, which contain what? Nematocytes. Now, these nematocytes or we can say nidoblast, where that are present on the tentacles or on the body. Now, what is the function of this nematocytes or nidoblast? There is a difference between cyte and blast. Blast is immature cell and cyte is mature cell. Now, these nematocytes nidoblast or nematocytes, these mainly meant for capturing the prey, anchorage, that is made for attachment and defense. That means that give protection. So these are the major functions performed by the nidoblast or nematocytes present in the coelenterate. Because of the presence of these characteristic cells, nidoblast or nematocyte, these coelenterates are also called as nidarians. Now, these what coelenterates are nidarians that having a central cavity. The body of these animals provided with the central cavity called as gastrovascular cavity. Body cavity or coelenterates provided with characteristic Why these animals are called as coelenterata? Because those animals which shows or exhibit tissue level of organization, generally which are marine, radially symmetrical and which having a central gastrovascular cavity, or it is called as coelenterata, that are commonly called as coelenterata. Why these animals that derive that name? Because of the presence of a gastrovascular cavity, or it is called as what? Coelenteric cavity. Hence the name coelenterata. And that also called as cnidarians because of the presence of nematocytes or cnidoblasts, which meant for anchorage, capturing of the prey, or it may be for protection or defensive action. Therefore, that are called as cnidaria or cnidarians. Now, so that having what? A characteristic cavity called as gastrovascular cavity, or it is called as coelenteron, with a single opening. So, this gastrovascular cavity is provided with only single opening called as mouth, located on a elevated region called as hypostome. Where it is located? It is located in the hypostome region. So that is the characteristic feature of what? Coelenterata. The next feature is these coelenterata that shows both the extracellular and intracellular dilation. So dilation first is extracellular. That means which takes place in the where this gastrovascular cavity. First is extracellular and later it becomes intracellular. That is the characteristic feature. First, actually digestion takes place inside the coelenteron. Later, that takes place inside the cell. Therefore, we can say this animal shows both extracellular as well as intracellular digestion. Now, here only tissue level, no any organs, there is no any specialized what respiratory structures or the excretory structures like that. Now this is exchange of gases mainly performed by means of diffusion like that. Now the group of coelenterata, especially there is one group of coelenterata that are called as anthozoa. Group of coelenterata called anthozoa or actinozoa. So there is one class of coelenterata called as anthozoans or actinozoans that always secretes calcium, that is the calcium exoskeleton, that is commonly called as coral. So these actinozoa or anthozoa secretes calcium carbonate exoskeleton, that is called as corals. So that is only by the group of coelenterata that are called as anthozoa or some coelenterates, the same animal, present in different forms. That is called as polymorphism. Some coelenterates exhibit polymorphism. That is mainly Obelia colony. So what is polymorphism? The presence of different forms in a same animal. Different forms of a same animal. Different forms of a same animal is called as what? Polymorphism. Now, so some coelenterates that exhibit two forms. Some exhibit two forms. One is sessile, cylindrical body, reproduce asexually, called polyp state, polyform. So polyform is always, it is sessile, attached, not moving, not freely moving, and it is cylindrical, that having a cylindrical body, and that always reproduces what? Asexually, that is called as polyp state. And this asexually reproducing sessile cylindrical body polyp form, this produces umbrella shape, free moving, umbrella shape, freely moving. Medusoid stage. Now, so those coelenterate which having these two forms, that is polyp stage, reproduce asexually and produce medusoid stage, and this medusoid stage reproduces sexually to produce which stage? Polyp stage. That means this having alternation of generation. So those coelenterate which having these two forms, that is called as metagenesis. What is metagenesis? Metagenesis is nothing but the presence of two forms in the same animal, that is that having the alternation of generation where the sessile cylindrical polyp stage which reproduces asexually to form umbrella shape free moving medusoid stage. That medusoid stage again that reproduces sexually to produce the sessile form called as polyp. This is called as metagenesis. What is metagenesis? It is the phenomenon which having two forms. One is the polyp and the medusoid. When that having more than two forms, that is called as what morphism? Polymorphism. Now, the sexes are not separated. Sexes are united. Sexes are united, that means these are called as monoecious, where both the male and female sex organs present in the same animal. Then reproduction, both asexually and sexually. So here we can observe both asexual reproduction as well as sexual mode of reproduction. Asexually, it reproduces asexually by means of budding, as in case of hydra, or it may reproduce sexually. We can observe both sexual as well as asexual mode of reproduction. And development is indirect. Why we can say development is indirect? There is a presence of what stage? Larval stages. We can observe what here? Larval stage. So these are the important features of coelenterata or called as cnidarians. Why these got the name as cnidarians? Because these animals provided with stinging capsule containing cells called as nematocytes or cnidoblasts. Therefore, these are called as cnidarians. Why these are called as coelenterata? Because those multicellular, generally marine, radially symmetry animals which having a central gastrovascular cavity are called as coelenteric cavity or called as coelenterata. So these are the important features of the phylum Coelenterata. Now these coelenterata are divided into three classes. Coelenterata are classified into how many classes? Three classes. One is called as hydrozoa and second is called as anthozoa or actinozoa and third is called as scyphozoa. Anthozoa, scyphozoa. What are hydrozoans? Hydrozoans are those which having both the polyp as well as what? Medusoid stage. Anthozoans that having only hydroid stage or it is called as polyp stage. Scyphozoans that having only medusoid stage. So here the typical example for this, the two scyphozoans are commonly called as jellyfishes. Jellyfish, that is Aurelia, comes under this. So jellyfishes included under which of the class of the coelenterata? That is Scyphozoa. And all the corals, that is mainly calcium carbonate skeleton, which is secreted by the group of coelenterata called as Anthozoa. Hydrozoa mainly Hydra, Obelia as well as Physalia. Physalia, this is called as Portuguese man of war. Portuguese man of war, this is nothing but Physalia. All these exhibits what? Polymorphism. Some extent, coelenterata also exhibit the power of regeneration. So here the classification and in that too it's detailed. It is not included for the NCERT, but we will discuss that in the CET and NEET. So the next phylum, that is a very small phylum. So before this small phylum is also included under the Cnidaria only, but now it is separated from the Cnidaria because that shows somewhat unique features when compared to the coelenterata. Now that next phylum is called as with tissue level of organization. Second is exclusively marine. No freshwater forms. Exclusively these are marine. And these ctenophora again that exhibits radially symmetry. Body is diploplastic or radially symmetry. And these ctenophorans that shows one important feature. The ctenophorans that having 8 plates of, that is the comb plates, we can say external 8 ciliated bands we can observe. Hence the name called comb jellies. Why ctenophorans are called as comb jellies? Because externally the body provided with 8 ciliated plates or comb plates meant for locomotion. So because of the presence of these comb plates or ciliated bands, we can say these are called as what jellies? Comb jellies are called as sea walnuts, which are called as sea walnuts, ctenophorans. Then these ctenophorans shows one unique feature when compared to the coelenterats. That is, these ctenophorans are always benthonic forms. Benthons means the two which are present in the bottom of the sea where less light penetration. Penetration of the light is very less. That is the darker zone of the sea. These are benthonic forms and exhibits bioluminescence. Bioluminescence. What is bioluminescence? This is the unique feature of this phylum ctenophora. Only these ctenophorans can exhibit this bioluminescence. What is bioluminescence? It is the phenomenon of emission of light by the living organism. Emission of what? Emission of light by the living organisms is called as bioluminescence. This is exhibited by ctenophora. This is the unique feature. Now, all the remaining features is similar to what? Coelenterats. Here also, the sexes are united, that are not separated. Fertilization is external. Fertilization is always what? External, and development is indirect. Development is indirect. So these are the unique features. Only remember the unique features of ctenophora. So the presence of what? External 8 comb plates on the surface of the body, hence the name comb jellies. and these always exhibits what? Bioluminescence. It is the phenomenon of emission of light by this living organisms because that leads a bentonic life. Ctenophora is the typical example. Also that comes under this. Now, so this ends the tissue level. Next is what? Organ level, that are protein helminthes. Next to that, organ system, Mosky helminthes. We will discuss that in the next class.